Hello, Unbreakable Souls. It is Sunday, October 13th, and I do have a message for you, but I'm presenting it a little differently today. Um, I'm actually going to interpret a dream. So my plan today is to read you the details of the dream as I remember it. It kind of came out in a story kind of format, so nice little storytelling here, and then I will break down the dream um, in the way that I was instructed to do. And I will say before I do this, just so you guys don't think that I'm just randomly thinking I can interpret a dream, I've been doing this since I was younger. And I never really tried to break it down the way that I broke it down, but definitely always believed that my dreams had messages and meant something, and I would always say that my dreams come true. So something I had this dream the night before or the day before yesterday, so going into Saturday the 12th. When I woke up, it was a specific time Saturday morning, so that's the date that I wrote up top to um, record this. So here I go. I hope you guys like it. Very different, but I thought I'd try. So I had a dream last night. I was in some type of dark place with an old man, some other people in my family as well, but I specifically remember Tim and Nadia. It felt like Nadia and I were in a cool space, like not close like we used to be. There's no laughing, no smiling. We were just there with each other. It was like we were comfortable there. It felt like we were living there. Like, I'm not sure if like we had been living there for a long time, but it did feel like we definitely were living there. Time went on, and Tim said something to the old man, and the old man became angry. So angry that he pulled out a shovel and began beating Tim to death. The energy then shifted in that space, and Nadia and I began to feel fearful and unsafe. So we both ran into another room. Nadia ran off and left me. So I had to find a small corner to hide in. It felt like a small crawl space. The old man went through that house beating people to death with that shovel. He finally made it to the room I was in. He walked around slowly, quietly, looking in corners, looking over furniture. And it felt like he was just moments away from finding my hiding spot. So all I could do then is just sit quietly. And I was looking through the small opening between two wooden chairs that were sitting in front of me. And all of a sudden, the old man looked to his right and ran across the room. I heard some rumbling, and then I heard Nadia screaming. That man grabbed her by the arm and snatched her into the next room. So again, I sat there quietly, and after a while, I decided to begin my escape. So I quietly slithered my way from under the nook and crawled out. When I got out, I looked directly ahead, and there was Nadia. She was walking with a plate of food, walking towards that same man, except this time he was sitting in a chair in the middle of that room, watching TV with his feet kicked up. It kind of looked like a lazy boy chair, like he was chilling. It was like the havoc that this person was creating had calmed down a little bit, and it was like they were living their own life. It kind of felt as though they were together, like a couple. And I also, when I looked around, kind of my eyes shifting, I noticed that the front door was to my left, just a few steps ahead of me. So without even thinking about it, I ran to that door. So then Nadia finally looked up, and she just like locked eyes and stared at me. Sorry, I lost my spot. Okay, so she stared at me, handing the man the plate. Again, he was just chilling, watching TV, relaxing. It didn't even seem like he had looked up from the TV. He just grabbed the plate from her. But I noticed in that moment that the door, the front door, it felt like, was just a few steps in front of me to my left. So I ran to the door, keeping a steady eye contact with Nadia. Obviously, it happened really fast, but it felt like slow motion. So when I opened the door, I mouthed, "I'll be back for you. I'll help you get out." So I opened the door wider and I ran out, slamming the door behind me, not caring who was behind or who would chase me. I ran to the neighbor's house, banged on her door. It was a woman, specifically, I remember, just an older woman in a gray house. Banged on her door, and she let me in. I remember grabbing her house phone and calling the cops. And first, that call didn't go through. For some reason, whatever number I dialed went to a automatic recording system for the authorities. So then I dialed it directly back, and it was the emergency line. And then I began crying, and there was a sense of, like, I felt a sense of relief, because I was able to get out. But there was also a sense of worry and sadness that I had left Nadia behind. So all I could do was blutter out on the phone, "Yes, I need officers at 1801. My sister and I were abducted, and she's still there." And then I could just hear the operator trying to calm me down, just, saying, "Ma'am, we have officers on the way." And then slowly her voice started to fade. I couldn't hear anything after that. And then I woke up. And when I looked at the clock, it was 6:45 a.m. So that was a dream. And something told me to write that down, because I have been getting messages for the last couple of weeks that I will be receiving messages through my dreams, and that I need to make sure that I remember them. And one of the suggestions was to write them down as soon as I could, so that I didn't miss any type of message that was supposed to be giving in that dream. So I wrote it down, and then it was like something just led me I literally was sitting there maybe for about an hour breaking down this dream, not ever knowing how to break down a dream. I've never done it before, but it was like I was guided to go to the places I needed to break this dream down. So I do have the breakdown of this dream, and then after that, I will give you my just synopsis of what I feel like the message is for not necessarily only me, but I feel like there may be someone going through this particular type of situation. Not obviously, this was a dream, so it was this situation never happened to me, but I do believe that the what it symbolizes is directly happening to me in my life right now, and I believe that someone else is going through this as well. So the overall message that was given in this that I came up with in this dream, I believe is meant for you all, um, and I am supposed to share it. So um, I broke it down just to kind of give you an idea of the gist of how I broke it down. Any numbers that came up in the dream, I took as spiritual guidance and spiritual numbers, as well as angel numbers. So that's how I broke them down. And that starts with the date. So the date that I recorded this dream was 10/12/2024, which turns out to be it turns out to be 12, the number 12, but if you add those two digits together, it is the number 3, so that's the spiritual number 3. And then the address mentioned came out to 10, which is the spiritual number of 1. And then the time of my awakening, or when I woke up, came out to 15, which is a spiritual number of 6. So just to kind of break down the 316, spiritual number 3 is about creativity, self-expression, growth, communication, and optimism and joy. The power of 3 expresses, or is an expression of nature, earth, sun, the moon, the human body, mind, and spirit. So time itself, this spiritual number, or this spirit is trying to tell me or tell y'all that time itself is unfolding as past, present, and future, and our full cycle of experiences such as birth, life, and death. 3 is a powerful creative force that amplifies our thoughts, words, and emotions. And then spiritual number 1 is the unity of all creation, the oneness of the universe, and the power of divine consciousness. It reminds you that you are connected to the source of all life, and that your soul has a special role to play, a sense of connection to something bigger than ourselves. Then spiritual number 6, which was my awakening, or when I woke up from this dream, represents harmony, balance, nurturing, and service to others. The angel number of 6, something told me to also look at the angel number for this one, which is balance between material and spiritual worlds, encourages family life, finding positive energy within. And so the total number, again, 316, something told me to also look that up as a spiritual message. And it says to shift your focus from the financial and material aspects of your world to your inner spirituality. So that was the meaning. That was the spiritual message of this dream. If that resonates with anyone, drop in the comments. Let me know if so far this is making sense to y'all. And then I broke down the type of dream and the meaning of that, and then I took on some key interpretations, and then also some factors to consider about what happened in the dream, what to possibly do with the information and with the message that I am interpreting in this dream, and then the things that just overall should be known about the dream. So the meaning of the dream, it says escaping an abduction while leaving someone behind often symbolizes a feeling of needing to prioritize your own needs and well-being, potentially at the cost of a relationship or a situation that is holding you back, even if it feels difficult to detach from that person or situation. The key interpretation, the first one is take control of your life. The escape represents a desire to break break free from a stressful or limiting situation, taking charge of your own choices and direction. Another key interpretation is just difficult decisions. Leaving someone behind signifies a tough choice where you might need to prioritize your personal growth over maintaining a connection that could be hindering you. Guilt or responsibility, even though you're escaping the feeling of leaving someone behind, that could represent guilt or a sense of responsibility you still feel towards that person or situation. And there's just some different factors to consider. You want to consider who was left behind in this dream. So the identity of the person in the dream can provide further insight. A close friend or family member might reflect deeper personal conflicts, while a stranger could represent a more general feeling of needing to detach from a situation. And I used fake names when I read the story, or when I read my story of my dream. But the roles of these individuals, these people are real. The names are just not real. So that really resonated with me about, who was that I was leaving behind and everything. As you guys heard when I was reading the story, Nadia is my sister. So I found that interesting because, emotions in the dream. So it talks about the emotions that were felt while having this dream, and the feelings that I listed, or the emotions that I listed, were fear, relief, hopeful, confidence, and bravery. So also another piece of this breakdown was to consider the context of what's going on in your life. As I mentioned, there are some things here in this dream that do apply to my life currently, as far as a couple of relationships that I've been navigating and going through. So the context of your life, just consider if there are any current situations in your life where you feel trapped or need to make a significant decision that might relate to the dream. What to do now that you've had this dream, we've broken it down. Or if you didn't have this dream, if you didn't have a dream similar to this, now that we've broken down all of these things, we figured out the emotions you're feeling in this situation. Now what do you do? First, reflect on feelings, right? Think about what emotions the dream evoked and what aspect of your life might be connected to those feelings. Consider self-care. If you're feeling overwhelmed by decisions or situations in your life, prioritize self-care activities to manage stress. And then also seek support if needed. If a dream is causing significant anxiety or confusion, talking to a therapist can help you understand the deeper meaning and help you work through underlying issues. And then lastly, just a takeaway from this dream is dreaming about being kidnapped and escaping could mean someone is trying to manipulate you. A dream about being kidnapped and held hostage may indicate that you feel trapped in waking life. It may also be a sign that you're stressed and overwhelmed. Ain't that a crazy dream? And just the fact that I was moved to break it down in that way, very, very interesting to me. So after all of that, I do believe that there's a general message for individuals as well, and that is, you're going to be going through life and there's going to be people in your journey, and in this case it's family members. And I believe the old man in that story was Father Karma. And I don't know where I got that name from, but it just felt like this was the man that handed down discipline based on the situation you've chosen to be in, based on the things you've said, and so on. So you may have people that kind of mess it up or mess up situations for you. You could be in a situation that is cool. Hold on. Okay, so you may be in a situation that's cool. Um, you're not super happy in there. There's no, but you're living there. You're surviving in there. And some people may do things that bring karma. In this case, it was bad karma. It was like death. And not to say that, because none of these, the first person that, Tim, um, he's not really dead in my family, but there is a relationship that has been deaded with him from my end, and just from our end, we don't really speak. Anyways, back to the overall, you may have individuals that say that can really mess up situations for you, and it could be a trickle down effect as far as karma goes. So someone might say something crazy. Someone might be with you, as far as y'all have the same mindset and you guys understand the severity of situations. But even that person, because of self-preservation or selfishness or just fear, once y'all realize the situation is not safe or it's not a situation to be in, y'all agree to remove yourselves from those situations, but that one person ends up leaving you to do their own thing, like running away, leaving you to figure it out on your own, and thinking that their way not only is the best way and that they'll be safe going that way, but also like just not caring what happened to you, like not looking back. And those could be people that you never would think would ever do that to you, because y'all made the decision to move on. Y'all made the decision to remove yourself from the situation and do better, and put yourself in a better situation. But when it came down to it, when things started to come down, karma started to come down, that person may not necessarily cross you, but leave you high and dry. And then with that, they choose their own direction, you choose yours, and it just so happens that you sitting quiet and still and waiting for a safe time to escape. That person may be over there thinking they got away with it, not really seeing Father Karma coming, right? So I had those 2 wooden chairs that I was able to kind of look through and kind of peek through and be able to see where he was at in the house and how close he was getting to me. And I just knew as he got closer and closer and closer, I had to remain silent, more quiet. I had to remain even more still, and I had to just sit and not move. And there was something, and then there may be people that remove themselves and are doing whatever, but so comfortable to where they feel like they can make a little noise. So egotistical that they feel like they won't get caught by Father Karma. And he will find you. He will even the slightest inkling that you are in that space, whether it's headspace, physical environment that you've chosen to go to, he will find you. So again, he was rumbling through what seemed to be like furniture, and I don't even think she knew he was coming until the scream happened, right? So maybe those people are just partying, doing their own thing, not partying, just living their life and doing whatever, and really feeling like, okay, dang, I got away from Father Karma. But they're not sitting still, they're not waiting until it passes. And those people will get snatched up by Father Karma, and he will keep you there, is what I'm hearing. And those people know the environment they're in. They know what they've done. They know how they've crossed people. And they're still okay being in that environment serving Father Karma because they are content. They are surviving. There's a lot of people in survivor mode with the survival mindset. But I'm no longer in that. I feel like I'm more in an abundant, hopeful, manifesting mindset, which is why I was able to see that door when it was time, and I was able to run out. So who I'm speaking to, you were able to see the door. You were able to escape, and you may have left some people there, but you have to remember they looked at you while you walked out. They looked at you while you left and didn't say a word. They let you leave. And they let you slam the door behind you. And they didn't follow you. They stayed there with Father Karma, serving him that food, living in that home after all of those people were dead, were beaten to death, knowing that has happened to your family, and you stay there. Those people just really have their own issues to work out if they can't see the severity of and the need to remove themselves, and how dangerous Father Karma can be if you stay in that home and you stay in that space, and whether again it's mind space or physical space, what can be done. And I would never want to stay in a situation or a space like that, which is why I think even in my dream I escaped and went to the neighbor's house. Now, you're still going to, even after you leave those individuals behind, you'll still feel like the need, like there's a survivor's guilt, right? So you'll do a couple of things, take a couple of steps to try to save them. For me, it was calling the cops, giving them the address of where my sister was and letting them know that we were abducted, letting them know what happened. Giving them the address and telling them that she was still there. I asked for help. I looked for help. So you may try to help these people. People may actually agree to help these individuals. And I think the fact that her voice fading away, and sometimes you won't know what will happen. Like, you'll leave a situation, you won't have any contact with these people, and all you know is the last thing that happened, which was you trying to help them, hoping that they took your help, hoping that when those officers got there, they escaped too, and they left with them and didn't act like they were supposed to be there. Didn't act like that was normal. Didn't act like Father Karma wasn't a dangerous, scary person, scary entity. And that's really all you can do in those situations, is do what you can to help, but also in that same moment you have to help yourself, for your safety, for your mental stability, for your future. I believe staying in that environment limits future. Some people don't even get out of those environments. They're stuck in there and they'll die there in that mindset. So the awakening, waking up at that specific time with that specific message of just focusing on family, joy, serving others, that literally is what you have to do. You have to move on and enjoy what you have, what you've been blessed with now that you've escaped that dark space. Even though you you did things to get there and you willingly put yourself in that space. You were smart enough and you listened to your intuition and got yourself up out of there. And ultimately you just can't take everyone with you, and that is the message. Good job. Congratulations. You made it out. And I believe that you won't do anything else to put yourself in a situation or an environment like that again, because you saw the chaos and it was kind of like a horror movie, right? You saw what could happen. You saw what Father Karma could do, and there's no way you would put yourself in that position again, or surround yourself with individuals that are in those situations, and also not trying to stay and help. So I think you're smarter now. I think you're on the right path. So I provide this message with love and peace, and it is directly from my heart. And if this resonated with you in any way, drop in the comments, subscribe to this page, to this channel. And again, let's go through this journey together. So remain unbreakable, and until next time, bye.